Hello guys, and this is going to be interesting, long and fun video. All because we will discuss tons and tons and tons and hundreds of tons of destroyed Russian missiles, bombs and other explosives in a huge ammunition depot in Toropets of Tver region inside the Russian Federation. This was a very big and actually new advanced ammunition depot constructed in 2018, and it was capable of keeping more than 240 tons of various explosives. The detonation continues for hours. The fire is more than 6 kilometers in diameter. NASA satellites noticed huge heat waves, and actually some seismic activity was monitored there. And no, it is not Ukraine to blame, because Russians, were planning to use these explosives, but on the Ukrainian side, we've decided to neutralize them while still on the Russian side. Many claim North Korean missiles also disappeared there, actually not disappeared, but turned into beautiful blasts that were fixed by tons of videos that now travel all around Facebook and other social media. I have collected lots of information because honestly, the topic of the research is extremely inspiring from an ordinary Ukrainian perspective. So let's discuss everything in detail. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to discuss more explosions on the evil Russian military objects as the process of the demilitarization of Russia continues, subscribe. We often talk about that on the channel, and please share the videos that you consider important, and I think this one is the one. So let's start with what has happened in Toropets, the town that many of us will remember for a long period of time, of the Tver region in the Russian Federation. Toropets is a small town, approximately 11,000-12,000 of people, but it is located close to a huge ammunition depot where Russians stored so many evil instruments of mass matter. Actually, this ammunition depot was quite new. They have constructed it in 2018, and literally you can find in Russian newspapers details about the construction of this arsenal. They claim it is a very advanced, built according to the standards that exceed NATO standards. Typical Russian BS. You see how they explode, how quickly, how loud, how bright. But it was constructed in 2018 with lots of firefighting ponds in case of emergency. I guess all of these fire ponds boiled and evaporated, so perhaps there are lots of clouds now around the territory. Anyway, it was capable of storing 240 tons of explosives underground, some around, and Russians were boasting how advanced and well protected it is. But it turned out to be very different. This operation is definitely historic. I'm sure it will be studied in some military books as many of the Ukrainian inventions. And honestly, there are so many evil missiles and bombs that exploded while still on the side of the aggressor that it is just beautiful. What we know, Russians stored their cabs. These are evil guided bombs that destroyed many in Kharkiv region, like they are very bad. These are missiles for various systems like Iskander, like .U, like S-400, S-300. And this is insane because it makes Russia seriously weaker. And such operations are super important if we want to end this war. Subscribe if you want to end this war with the complete defeat of the Russian Federation. That's how I see the only possible end of this war. Because Russia is not motivated to stop fighting. any appeasement, any BS negotiations will lead to a frozen conflict for a couple of months or years, and then expansion of this conflict potentially to other countries. The only way to really stop it is to demilitarize Russia so that they have nothing to fight with. And events like this one in Toropets of Tver region, I love repeating that, is an effective way to achieve our common goal. So how did it happen? How did we manage to put ablaze like tons and tons and tons of explosives? And actually, what I love, there were lots and lots of North Korea missiles, which is like beautiful. I can imagine how disappointed these two pathetic dictators are. They have agreed, they have brought these missiles from North Korea to Russia, and they have exploded while still on the Russian side. Honestly, guys, dictators are pathetic, starting from their style, all this Botox in Putin's face, Kim Jong-un's haircut, and finishing with the way they think about this world, the way they think about you, me, and all people who are brave enough to like freedom, which is contrary to them classical cowards that hide behind the bully image. So probably these were Ukrainian drones. For example, a Ukrainian drone like Luty, which can be translated both as fierce, that's the quality, or as February. And February is the month that is quite fierce. And it's a very sad month in Ukraine since it is the month when this full-scale invasion started. So maybe drones like that can travel far away, that have traveled unstoppable by Russian air defense many times already, might have performed the task. This might have also been Ukrainian modified missiles. I'm sure we will see that, but we can already see satellite images of this hell on earth. They literally had to evacuate people. No casualties among the civilians because Ukrainians know what they want. Our task is to destroy these instruments of mass matter, missiles, bombs, explosives, and all that evil stuff that Russia collected for decades hating the world. They have lots of this crap since the times of the Cold War, and as long as they have them, as long as North Korea, Iran, China supplies them, this war will not stop. Putin can pretend something to gain more time, to mobilize more people, but please never trust mass murderers. It's a movaton, you know. So, what is also interesting, according to the reports of crazy Russian vloggers, military vloggers, who are super worried about these negative things happening on the Russian side, they were super disappointed that from the satellite images on Google Maps, on Yandex, never Google that, you could see, I love this change of tense, you could see that many of the missiles and many of the explosives were actually lying up, not hidden in these underground bunkers of the super cool ammo depot destroyed by inexpensive Ukrainian drones. So perhaps with the Kursk operation, with lots of troubles in different parts of the Russian Federation, they do not have enough time for hiding, for just like protecting these tools, these instruments of mass matter, and they leave them up, and we couldn't like miss this kind of opportunity. And it is beautiful. It is beautiful how we achieved this earthquake of the Russian ammunition depot, one very big, one very close to the front lines. And this is also an answer to those cowards who do not let Ukraine strike back, saying maybe it's already too late because Russia has moved all of its aircraft from military air bases within the reach of long-range missiles. But they did not move, and they cannot move ammunition depots. You know why? Because they need them close to the front lines, and they will never move them I don't know, thousands of kilometers away from Ukraine, because they need them here and they will keep them here. And having these long-range missiles, we could like multiply the effects of the demilitarization of Russia and make this world a safer place much sooner. Guys, that's so obvious, because if there are no bombs, if there are no missiles, we're not afraid of empty Russian bombers. Let them stay wherever they want. Our task is actually to destroy more and more of their ammunition. And this is going to be cool, and we're working on that with our inexpensive limited drones. Let's stop limiting the victory, the potential of Ukraine, the defense of Ukraine. It is so unjust, and it literally makes me angry. I know it's not mine, it's not yours responsibility, and I do not express this anger here, but let's work together. It's insane that we are not allowed to protect not just ourselves, but believe me, many countries around the world, even across the oceans, that if this war continues, if Russia wins, if it expands, consequences will be felt even on the moon. So anyway, we are doing our job, and we are doing this job really good. So trust Ukraine. I mean, both trust Ukraine to do the job and trust Ukraine to make their decisions. And that's actually a part of the plan that Zelensky sees as the future victory, when we are allowed to make our own military decisions with the ammunition that we are provided by our partners. But the moment we receive this ammunition, it's ours, and responsibility is ours. Stop being afraid, stop speaking about escalation. We take all the responsibility on ourselves. We are ready for that. We don't have a choice, and we want to end this war once and forever, for the future generations of Ukrainians to live, build, enjoy life. But we need to end this war with complete Russia's defeat. Subscribe, like, and share this video, because I am convinced such messages are very sobering and very important. Once again, I may encounter some very concerned messages that Russian trolls later like repeating, like, oh my God, NASA satellites noticed the heat wave, or some seismic activity was monitored. Come on, first of all, some seismic activity can be monitored during Taylor Swift concerts. And second, can you imagine what kind of seismic activity we experience here in Ukraine on a daily basis, because Russia continuously targets our cities, our villages, our lives? It happens. These earthquakes are everywhere in Ukraine, and these missiles were prepared not for an exhibition. They were actually prepared for these mini earthquakes, but deep inside civilian districts, schools, and hospitals of Ukraine. So when we neutralize them, we do not threaten the ecology or something. We actually stop Russia, that is a global threat, with its constant mining of territories, with its hijacking of power plants, with its destruction of dams. Once again, let's all agree and finally understand, peace can come only after the total defeat of Russia. I know you know, and I know. Let's do it. And I was watching analytics of this huge earthquake-style explosion in Toropets. You see, I love repeating this word. And one of Ukrainian intellectuals actually compared it to a similar epidemic of fires, detonations, and explosions on Ukrainian ammo depots that happened during 2000s, and especially after 2010, when Russia was preparing to attack Ukraine, but normal people in Ukraine did not expect something similar was possible, just as you think Russia only cares about Ukraine or only cares about the Baltics. No. Their plans are really big. They remember they had part of Berlin. Trust me. They speak about Lisbon, Atlantic Ocean. They are crazy. Once again, do not evaluate them from your healthy perspective. They are irrational. To attack Ukraine, to attack Kyiv, was irrational, was insane. It will lead to the defeat of Russia and the destruction of the Putin's regime. But they did it because they are crazy. So do not, once again, analyze their behavior using your personal thoughts, experiences. And they were doing it in Ukraine. They were hiring some traitors. They were doing sabotage. Once again, in 2010, it was easy for Russians to travel to Ukraine. And Ukraine was severely demilitarized, including with the help of many countries that are now our partners. Everybody wanted to take away Ukrainian weapons, and Russia was kind enough to accept these weapons and aircraft that it now uses to bomb us. Also, we were silly enough, and I acknowledge that, to trade and give to Russia lots of our ammunition for cheaper gas prices. They have repeated similar things with Nord Stream. Russia always deceives you. Russia is a mafia, and whenever they offer you a deal, no, it's not a deal. It's Russia that puts you in a trap. So that is why our task right now is to destroy more, or better, all Russian weapons, Russian ammunition depots, and simply destroy its potential to attack. That's the only way. And as I'm not very convinced in the decisiveness of our partners, am I diplomatic enough? Once again, I'm not speaking about people. I'm speaking about those politicians that still think they can reload, change relations with Russia. Not until the defeat, not until Putin is imprisoned. I will never forgive if, for example, another US president will speak with Putin as a person, as a politician, not as a war criminal and mass murderer. So one of our tasks that we clearly understand here is to develop more and more of Ukrainian missiles. And there are rumors and there are official reports that we are working on that. It's really difficult to start this construction anew in times of the full-scale war, with explosions, with attacks, with blackouts, but we are working on that because you know what? These missiles will give us more freedom, and actually more freedom to other nations that are under threat, not just of Russia, but also other authoritarian regimes that are observing. And right now, they are observing how small, in comparison to them, democratic, freedom-loving, and very brave country destroys evil ammunition depots of the very big fake bully. And I'm sure China is concerned, and North Korea is very disappointed that hundreds of their missiles simply turned into seismic activity in Tver region of the Russian Federation. Yes, I can speak with Russian accent, but I don't like it. Anyway, I'm sorry, maybe I've been emotional, but this is actually the hugest blast organized by the Ukrainian armed forces on the Russian territory, and war is officially in Russia, where it belongs. Only destroying Russia's military potential, we can achieve lasting peace and freedom in this part of the world. Please support us. Please explain that to those who do not understand. Subscribe if you're new. There are lots of hot topics and hot targets, military targets in Russia that we discuss here in the very friendly and respectful community that I am very proud of, and I hope you are proud of. Join me on Instagram, X, Threads, and Discord. The links are in the description of this video, same as the link to our merch shop with lots of really good products that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. Remember to join me this Saturday for live at 9 p.m. Kyiv time. And please help us spread the message. Help us persuade those who doubt that Ukraine needs to defend itself and many other democracies. Please let us do it with two hands. Do not tie our hands. Let Ukraine strike back. Let Ukraine win. Slava Ukraini!